Hey, Dr. Sudakov, this is Nash Kassam recording here from Healthcare Marketing. In this video, I want to show you how you can generate more new patients by improving your search engine rankings, as well as by optimizing your conversions on your website a little bit better. A little bit about me first. I'm the son of two dentists, and my parents both run a cosmetic dental office just like yours. In 2016, I grew their business by $800,000, and this year we've grown their business by $1 million, all using digital strategies. Ultimately, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to partner up with two dentists in Charlotte to kind of deploy a similar marketing strategy and show similar growth. But let's jump right into this little presentation here. First and foremost, I want you to look at your rankings. Obviously, if people aren't finding you online, you're not getting clicks, you're not getting calls. As you can see here, we've run a ranking report for you, and you just don't rank very well. So for one of the top cosmetic dentists in Charlotte, an award-winning dentist, we expect to see some better rankings here. Of course, you could be generating traffic from things like AdWords, Yelp, other referrals, things of that nature, but obviously you're missing out on a huge opportunity if you're not ranking at all on Google. If you're not sure whether Google or not is the place where people look, well, look no further. This is Google's keyword tool. As you can see in the city of Charlotte, we have quite a few people, 12 to 1,500 people searching for cosmetic related keywords. And then we have thousands and thousands of people searching for general related keywords. So if you're not investing time and money to get to the top of Google, you're just missing out. If you're happy with your clinic growth and all of that good stuff, that's great, but just one thing I want you to be conscious of is the fact that according to the American Dental Association, the number of dentists practicing will continue to grow all the way through 2033. So the number of dentists per capita will continue to grow all the way through 2033. So even if you're getting the right amount of new patients now, 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now, that number is going to keep going down unless you take action. So food for thought. What I want to first do here is show you some errors on your website or some areas of improvement, and you can have me help you out with this, or you can have your current company help you out with this. So the very first thing is this slider right here. It obviously takes up a fairly big chunk of the initial page, and yet when you click on it, nothing happens. So you're using up valuable real estate. The other thing I'd be conscious of is the smiles used in these pictures. They're not great smiles, and it might just inadvertently send the wrong message to your customers, especially if you're trying to brand yourself as a cosmetic dentist. The next thing is I don't obviously see new patients welcome and the new patient general checkup and cleaning. So if you look at your services, we see cosmetics, sedation, TMJ, sleep. Nowhere here does it say like general appointment or new patient checkup and cleaning. In fact, the first place I saw it really was kind of down closer to the bottom, new patient cleaning and exam. So that's something I would just be cautious of. The next thing I would be cautious of is things like clicking. So make an appointment. If you click on that, nothing happens. If you click on Habla Español, it takes you to a Google Maps page. So it's just a bit inconsistent. So I'd be conscious of just making sure you fix some of those small mistakes. I think this is great. You were voted one of the top dentists in Charlotte for many years. I would try to go to that, keep going with that theme. That's a good way to do it. One thing I didn't like about your site is that there's a lot of chunky text. People typically don't like reading paragraphs. They'd much rather you break things down. Little things that just don't look professional is when pictures like this are like stretched out and they're not styled properly. It just reflects poorly on you and your website, especially when you're a cosmetic dentist and attention to detail is important. Little things like spacing and the stretch and things like that are going to be either consciously or subconsciously noticed. And little errors like this, that needs to be lined up, for example. So just make sure whoever is working on your website is fixing some of those obvious things. And then this why choose iDental, I would get this all the way up at the top, because that's really why people should be choosing you. All of this other stuff you could paste on any other website really, and it's going to be very similar. or people just aren't reading it. So, you know, you have some good information, go to the top dentist. Unfortunately, it's just presented in a way where you're not going to have a huge amount of engagement. Let's take a look at one of your services pages. So let's just go to like Invisalign, for example. I would say request an appointment. Obviously, this isn't scheduling one, and you don't want to confuse any patients. I'm just reading through some of this content here. Again, how you break the content down is really important. A lot of this seems to be what Invisalign is, not why someone should choose you. So I would try to put the important stuff up at the top and then work your way down to the less important stuff. So talk about why someone should choose you as a practitioner, why Invisalign is going to change their life, and then maybe a little bit after that, what Invisalign is. I think you should also have cases on this, before and after pictures. You should have testimonials, and you should have reviews. Those are 3 things that are going to move people forward in the purchase decision, not take them away from it. Other reasons people might want to choose you is because you're rated a top dentist, because you have experience as an occlusion dentist, because you deliver better results, because you've performed 100 cases. You need to think about what makes you different from your competitors and start focusing on that, because unfortunately, if you just have this kind of generic content up here, people are going to look at your website just like they're going to look at your competitor's website, and then they're going to make their decision based on things that really shouldn't matter that much. Like if one is a few minutes closer to them or open an hour later, those types of things, we don't want people to make a decision because of those small kind of nominal types of things. In your before and after section, let's take a look here. The one thing I want to stress is the size of this. I mean, typically people who have worn down their teeth enough where they require significant full mouth rehabs or veneers, often they're going to be over the ages of 35, 40, somewhere in there. To have text this small that's illegible for a lot of people in that age bracket doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're catering your cosmetic dental treatments to people who are a little bit more affluent, a little bit more have a little bit more experience and age behind them, you want to make sure that these types of things can be more visible or legible. Little things like having, little things like the amount of space between here and the amount of space between here does make a difference. At the end of the day, people want to make sure that you are paying close attention to detail. And little things like that just can, from a subconscious perspective, make a difference. I would strongly encourage you do a lot more of the before and after full face pictures. A lot of the times these clinical case pictures don't really tell the full story. And most importantly, I would try to have more of these testimonials. So those are just a few things. There's obviously a bunch more there, but hopefully that opens up the conversation. And if you need a little bit more help from me on areas to improve, I'd be more than happy to help. Ultimately, my goal is to work with up to 2 cosmetic dentists in Charlotte. What we've done is we've built a program that's going to generate about 430 new patients in the next 2 years. So what we've done is we've taken a bunch of keyword research to determine the cost per click, and based on competition, we know which keywords are going to work best. And then we've built a calculator here, which is going to be quite accurate because it's based on actual conversion and analytics from existing websites that are very similar to the website we've built. Let me just quickly show you the website we've built. It's a good-looking website. It focuses on the right messages. It focuses on why someone should choose you. Good call to actions, lead generation forms, little things like icons, draw the eyes, transitions, things of that nature. If we look at, for example, the porcelain veneer page, we're going to be talking a lot more about what makes you different and why someone should choose you. So we have this little section here, the differentiation points. As you can see, we draw attention to these points because they're important, using transitions, icons, titles. Additionally, we break the content down with taglines, And then we have things like emotional benefits, functional benefits, catering to different types of audience. Different types of people think differently, so we want to address both of those. Another thing we have is the smile, the case section. So where you had a very small picture that wasn't legible, we have a full page dedicating to sharing the story of a happy customer. It starts with a testimonial, has full before and after pictures. Obviously that's a stock picture, but ultimately what we're trying to do is show prospective patients how a smile makeover can change their life. And then we want to tell a story. So we can talk about what the goals are, a little bit about this actual individual, what she was hoping for, and that's obviously going to resonate with similar people. And then we can put the case studies at the end if we want. And then obviously we want to convert interested parties into new leads. So messaging would be free consultation, etc. So this format of a website has generated, my website's generated about 30% to 40% more conversions than industry average. And we think through things pretty well. So we're going to be taking advantage of as many good clicks as we can, and using real data, we can project the following numbers for Charlotte. So we've come up with a budget of $5,000 per month, and we're looking for only 2 clinics in Charlotte. We won't work with any more than 2 just because we don't want to compete against each other and we don't want any conflicts of interest. So this package isn't for everyone, but the way we've structured it, it's going to deliver both short-term and long-term return on investment. And that's by blending both AdWords, which is the pay-per-click style of marketing, with search engine optimization, which is the long-term, more organic way to come up to the top of Google. As you can see here, we've budgeted your budget for all of the different initiatives, marketing initiatives, and we've calculated how many clicks or how much money you're going to be spending and how many clicks you're going to be able to get. When you add everything up, what we can see is that after year 1, you're going to get 50 new cosmetic patients and about 100 new general patients. In year 2, you're going to get 89 new cosmetic patients and 197 general patients. If you take the average value of a cosmetic patient and assign a short-term value of $3,000 and a lifetime value of $10,000, and if you take the average short-term value of a general patient as $1,500 and the average lifetime value of a general patient at $10,000, you can see we get roughly $867,000 back in the first 2 years, which works out to a $7 to 1 return on investment. And then your lifetime value is 436 new patients is what we estimate, conservatively estimate. It's going to give you about $4,362,000 over the lifetime of this campaign, and your return on investment is going to be $36 to 1. So hopefully I've at least impressed you a little bit with my knowledge. I think I mentioned earlier on in this video that my parents are both dentists, and we've been executing a similar strategy for them. Spending $60,000 a year the last 2 years, they have seen over $800,000 in new patients. So the actual results for them have been double what I project for you guys. So I've projected $800,000 over 2 years. They've seen $1.6 million over 2 years. It just shows you what's possible. So let's set up a phone call. My phone number is 1-888-611-2669. Again, the name is Nash. The phone number is 1-888-611-2669. Ultimately, all I want to do is learn about your growth goals, see where you want to get to, and then see if I can be the person to help you get there. So thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to chatting soon.